welcome back. It is the Danny Dot Podcast. Today I'm going to be having one of those real chats, you know, the ones about the future, specifically the next 5 years. What does that 5-year plan look like for you? Because honestly, lately people have been saying that your 30s are about slowing down. I don't believe it. I don't agree. We're going to be talking about creating a life that feels exciting, stress-free, and unapologetically yours. So, first off the bat, let's get into it. Was I a little bit angry last episode? Yep. I've just had so much going on. I didn't need that stupid intimidation bullshit. Honestly, it's a lot. It's a small town. Pull your socks up and get on with life. Goodness gracious. So that's where I am with this episode today, is that I want to see that everyone, you know, just looks to the future and grows a little bit from everything. I mean, this season alone, I have grown so much as a person. It's so weird. I am just so proud of this season. I can't even deal. We're almost at like 75 episodes across 3 seasons. And as much as it looks like to me that, you know, I'm running on fumes, I don't know what to talk about, you know, it's honestly because I just have my mind in other buckets. I've got little things going on that are, in my eyes, a little bit more interesting than the podcast. But also, I'm in my late 30s where I just sort of settle in and think, well, is that even important to talk about? I don't even know. So yeah, season 4 would probably be like making it to 100 episodes, and then I might just can the podcast. I don't know. I could can the podcast after season 3. It really depends on where I see this going. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Anyway, a couple of things that have been going on in the last sort of 6 weeks that I haven't even mentioned, which is crazy because, yeah, look, it's a little bit exciting. I have been Airbnb-ing my property out, which I'm not going to lie, this whole thing about getting a flatmate just didn't entertain me. I have had 17 flatmates in 2.5 years when I lived in Queenstown. And that was when I was in my early 20s, so it was a lot of fun. But if I could really rewind it back to when I first went flatting in Queenstown, I cried my eyes out for like 6 weeks, mate. Honestly, I was just, I don't want to go flatting. I don't want this shit, rah, rah. And now I'm literally 4 weeks away from getting this house to myself. My mum moves into my investment property with my brother. She's excited. I couldn't care less. I just don't think having a flatmate's going to bring me any joy. You know, I'm old now. I don't want people in my space. So we started Airbnb-ing, and quite frankly, it's been the funniest. I've just like enjoyed every aspect of it. If you're ever thinking about doing it, just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. It's fun. My first Airbnb customer was from Paris, and he was beautiful. He honestly could not have been a better first person to stay in the house. When you first list it though, like, it's terrifying. It's like, how clean does your property have to be to have a guest who's going to rate you based on that? And he came in that night, and I was thinking, oh, he's probably going to go to his room. He doesn't want to talk. You know, we were talking beforehand because he was staying in the central part of the South Island in a place called Twizel where it had snowed. So he was a little bit stuck, and I was thinking, oh, he's not even going to turn up. Like, this is great, you know, free money, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm so glad that he did, because it really set the tone. He actually Airbnb'd his property out in Paris, and he was on a year gap year around the world. He earned a shitload of money, 149,000 euros a year working for L'Oreal in Paris. He was head of HR, so this is a lot of information I sort of obtained from him, but he was just willing to share his experiences and what he did. And I think that's the whole beauty of it, is that I can tell him all my secrets from the Cromwell region, and he can tell me all of his worldwide secrets. And quite frankly, I've never met a person that's been on Booking.com that's even exceeded Booking.com's Genius Level 3. I mean, he was on like his own like discount kind of tier, and he was showing me, it was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, we stayed up. We had a whole bottle of red wine. We talked about his trip through Argentina, and he taught me a whole bunch of stuff about the North Island of New Zealand and how Intercity Bus does this payment schedule that's based off hours spent on the bus. So you basically get a bus pass for $250 and it gives you 50 hours of travel, and then you just top up if you want to keep traveling around New Zealand. And I had no idea. Like, that to me was so exciting to find out. I was like, I'm getting a bus pass, because I think when you come from a small town like this that there's no transport, public transport just thrills me. I'm weirdly fascinated. But anyway, it was really quite sad to see him off on the next day, and he was off on his adventure to Dunedin to go watch the All Blacks versus France. But the conversations will live rent-free in my head, He was convincing Mum to do a trip to Argentina, and that alone was the funniest thing because, I've never thought of South America as interesting, but how he spoke about it, maybe it was his accent, I don't know. Anyway, that happened on the Thursday, and then by Saturday, this beautiful specimen from Argentina walked through the door. 7 foot, size 16 shoes. He left his shoes on the shoe rack. They were these gorgeous orange Louis Vuitton sneakers, and me being me, I was so intrigued. I had to have a look, and I saw they were size 16. He was beautiful. He put his bag down in his room and came into the living room, and we were watching All Blacks versus France. He fell asleep snoring so goddamn loud I couldn't hear the rugby, which stressed me out, I'm not going to lie. Didn't really get too much of a conversation out of that one, but he left me a beautiful review, and that's all I ask for. I'm actually a really good host, I'll have you know. And we have had 2 more since, so yeah, just really great conversations. I'm still a 5-star host. However, somewhere between all of this happening, the support beam in the base of my bed that's in that room had broken. So we changed the bedding between people, and it wasn't until Mr. 7 foot tall Amsterdam had left that I realised, holy shit, the bed's broken. We have to go to Queenstown to buy a base. Bit of a crack-up situation, if you ask me. I was like, oh, this is not ideal. But anyway, we just sort of went with that, didn't we? However, through all of this, I didn't really mention any of this because it stressed me the hell out and made me cry for like 2 weeks straight. My car had a situation, and I'm one of those people that loves to contribute to everything. You're going to invite me to a house party, I'm going to bring a plate. If you want to invite me to Queenstown, I'm going to make sure I get there, and it's going to be like on my own terms kind of thing. So having a vehicle break just sent me to the moon. So about 5 weeks ago, when I came back from my trip to Christchurch to see my granddad, the next morning I decided to go to the gym. And normally I don't do this when it's minus degrees outside. Like, my whole thing is that if it's below 0, I'm staying in until it comes back up to positives. It just takes longer to thaw your vehicle out than necessary. And by the time you get warm again after your workout in the gym, you've got to de-ice your damn car in the car park again just to get home. So as I was driving around, I was like half asleep, but I really wanted to go and have a workout. I turned the heater from 4 to 2, and I heard this pop, and I thought nothing of it. Okay, it is what it is, who cares? So I go into the supermarket just so that I can like de-stress and grab some groceries if I need, and then I took the vehicle home. I didn't even go to the gym. And it wasn't until I actually got back home that I thought, oh shit, if the engine light's on, can I even drive it to the mechanics? Fast forward like a day of me procrastinating because I am who I am. Basically, I got it to a local mechanic, which people had recommended. My mum had been to them prior about a few things. And they basically said to me, you've blown your head gasket. Now, the tears, the waterworks, it was a horrible situation. I love my car. I've tried to buy another car. I keep going back to the one that I have, The most annoying thing about this is that whilst I was on the way to Christchurch, Mum said to me, do you want to look at any of the car yards? Do you want to trade your car in? What do you want to do? And I said, no, my car's great. I love it. Neither has a problem. Boom. 3 days later, the head gasket's blowing and I don't have a car anymore. So I've just decided that if something's really good in my life, I'm not actually going to talk about it because I feel like I jinx myself and it's just painful. However, for those 2 weeks, between actually thinking, oh my God, my gasket's broken and what do I do next? I was miserable, like I couldn't even go on a run outside. I couldn't go on, do a home workout. Like my brain was in the gutter. I was not coping. I was just struggle city. And Mum did her absolute best. Like, don't get me wrong, she kept on offering me to have her car, but I was just, it's not mine. I don't want it. Anyway, I was talking to a co-worker who said to me, hey, Danny, why don't you get a second opinion? And I was like, well, what's that going to achieve? Someone's actually put their computer on my vehicle and read what the engine light means, which is why it's indicative of a head gasket. And they said, doesn't matter, take it to a second opinion. So I ring another mechanic here in Cromwell and he says, hey, look, your car's European. We've got a European specialist down the road. This is who it is. So I give them a call. This is on like a Tuesday. By Monday the next week, I had not heard a peep after he said that he was going to pop around and have a look at this vehicle. So already I'm a little bit upset about it because it's like this mechanic's ghosted me and I'm trying to get this fixed. I'm feeling like pretty let down at this stage, And then all of a sudden I ring him. I got the guts up. I was like, stuff it. If you're going to run a business, you're going to tell me if you're not going to make it. You're like, do good. So I ring him and he says, oh, I've misplaced your phone number. I was hoping you were going to give me a call back. I will come round now. So he turns up, has a little bit of a tinker under the bonnet, gives me the keys to his vehicle, says, follow me. I'm going to drive your car back to my car yard. And I'm going to drop you home and then I'll have my lunch, spend an hour on it, and then I'll give you a call with what we're going to do. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to try and fix it. I've already been quoted $5,000 or $6,000 for an engine rebuild. So this is like a whole spiraling situation. I don't know how to tell him to not fix it, like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm at home and he rings and he says, hey, it's all fixed. You can come pick it up. I says, you're joking, right? What was it? He says, it was a spark plug. Your third spark plug was misfiring and I fixed your ignition coil. So I've changed 4 spark plugs and an ignition coil for barely $300. And it's here for you to pick up. Do you want me to pick you up to come get it? And I was like, no, I'll walk around. It's absolutely fine. Like I'm freaking the hell out. Like I've been without a car almost 4 weeks. I ring my mum, I ring my brother. They can't believe it. So yeah, there was like this whole time frame where I was like planning on doing a whole bunch of things to get myself organized for Australia. And all of a sudden I didn't have a car. So it was misery city. And to make shit worse, I had Airbnb bookings where people were coming to Cromwell on buses. I couldn't even pick them up. I had to give directions if you were going to walk from the bus stop to my house. I felt like the biggest letdown. I was just so sad. So that's why we're here today, is that obviously there's just been a lot of weird shit going on. And I feel like lately it's like this weird approach where people have been saying, oh, but you're young, you should be able to cope with things. Or, what's your plan? You're coming up to 40. And I was like, excuse me, in 5 years' time, I'm going to be 43. And I think it really triggered me to think, holy shit, my 40th is coming up really soon and I haven't planned what I would like to do for it, because the older you get, the more parties kind of tend to drop off. And I love a party, I'm not going to lie. Me and celebrations go hand in hand. Met my best mate, and birthdays not so much, but he turns 40 before I do, so yeah, there's that. We need to figure something out quick because it's going to come up faster than mine. Anyway, yeah, look, it's interesting. It's one of those things where I don't really care about these, some things are just not important anymore. And I feel like in 5 years' time, my situation is going to be completely different. It's going to be even different in 4 weeks' time when I have this house to myself and just Airbnb-ing whenever I want to. It's not for financial reasons to do that. It's more just the company. I am really excited and thrilled to be a part of that whole weird sense. I did list the house on flatmates.co.nz. However, twice now I've got emails to say don't give my credit card information to that person who inquired because they're convicted of this, that, and the other. So, like, how do people even get flatmates anymore? It's so weird. I don't want to commit to that. It's fine. So no, look, I just kind of wanted to drop this on here as though, like, you know, if you are in your 30s and you are feeling like time is of the essence, I wouldn't even stress about these types of things anymore, because for me, life is speeding up, and it's only because it's enjoyable things. It's a lot. I actually don't know how I've been surviving this year, because it feels like I'm on fumes. It was actually yesterday that Mum said, oh, when I move over to Queenstown, we'll look at flights and bookings and stuff to go to the islands for her 60th, which me and my brother owe her a trip. We told her that we would put her on a plane to send her an island. She just had to pick the island, and quite frankly, a million and one things came up and she just couldn't fathom thinking about it. So it was nice to hear that she actually wanted to start planning that, which in hindsight means I get to go as well, because she's not going to go alone, and I have never been to some of the islands. I really want to go to Aitutaki and the Cook Islands, so that's definitely part of my 5-year plan. Once we actually sell this investment property in Hanley in a year's time, Tom's going to go off with the profit and build his forever home. He's very excited about that. That's on his 5-year plan. Mine is my mum and my brother are just push that I will own a bar, and that's been on the cards for like 2, 3, 4 years now. I know it's in my nature to own a bar. A few times it's come up as to if I should take my share of this investment property and plow it into property for, you know, a house. But my mum's already started talking about this Cromwell house as though it's mine. She's detaching from it. She wants an apartment in Queenstown and she's excited about it. And I thought, oh, whatever. I've even offered to buy half this house just so that she alleviates some of the mortgage. But yeah, this bar is definitely on my 5-year radar. Could not be more happy about it, honestly. Like, I have a very serious 9 to 5. I have a few side hustles, and I would really like to have a little bit of a social experiment where I could enjoy bringing people together. And I think if I'm not celebrating a birthday or throwing a party or a dinner party or whatever, it would definitely be my vibe to own something that I could show other people how to do that. I've kind of thought about, you know, delivering cheese boards and stuff like that, or doing tutorials, but it's just like, you know what? Nah. I'll keep that for my friends and family so we can enjoy that kind of thing together. But yeah, on a definite look around my 5-year plan, do I look to be married with babies? Probably not. My blood clot medication prevents me from doing all those things without a bit of a high risk. But you know what? Like, me and my kitten are just living our best lives. Yesterday, I got out of storage. My cat Poe has a playpen thing from when he was a kitten and he was too small for the living room. Like, we'd actually lose him. If I was going to Queenstown, he'd get stuck under the couch and everything. So we put him in this pen. Anyway, I thought it'd be funny to fill it up with rainbow coloured balls just to send him on an adventure. And I sent the videos to my mum, and she was like, honestly, if you had children, you would just absolutely be the most outrageous parent, because who does that? You know, and I was like, I saw it on TikTok. I thought it would be fun. And it was fun. He was knackered. My cat slept so good last night, which meant I slept really well. But no, look, love, I think I'm still kind of reeling from what went on earlier on in the year, and it just doesn't interest me. I know that, weirdly enough, I got my palm read, and they said that I would find love between 58 and 60 years old. So am I worried? No. Is he out there? Maybe. But it's a little bit daunting to hear that you might actually get married between those ages, and that's kind of old. Like, am I meant to be an old bride? Yeah, that's not in my 5-year plan. It doesn't mean I'm not looking. I just am more focused on other things at the moment. I would probably say I had more travel in my 5-year sort of realm. And a friend of mine quite recently had moved to Australia, and she has been ticking up the trips internationally. And look, I think this is why I'm a little bit sketchy about this whole travel thing, is because you have to go from Queenstown to Australia, then on to the world. Whereas when I lived in Brisbane, it was the gateway. You could go anywhere. And I think now it just shits me that I have to pay $500 more just to get to Sydney or Brisbane to go on to better parts of the world. So call me sketchy miserable, I know. But that's just how I see it, and it bothers me. Ugh, hate it. But no, I definitely want to get back on the saddle, and I think with this weekend coming, going to Auckland to see my workmates, I'm very excited. It will get me out of the bubble and out of this funk of being under a stupid inversion cloud in Cromwell. But also it starts the whole, you're going to go to Australia in 2 weeks' time, like get your friggin' shit sorted. You've got your car working again. You've got, so much on the horizon. Basically, when I get back from Australia, my mum's moving out, and that is the weirdest thing that, she may never live in this house ever again. She might just go on and live in an apartment in Queenstown, and that's her forever home. I don't know, but she seems to be excited about it, which scares the living shit out of me, because what am I supposed to do with this Cromwell house? What if I don't want to be here in 5 years' time? We sell it and it's just not our house anymore. That's scary. So, holy crap, you guys. There's a lot to think about. I know that I need to buy a new car in the next 5. No, that's not. It's fine. It's fine. We're not even going to talk about it. But anyway, I just sort of wanted to see where everyone else's minds were thinking about what happens in 5 years. It's not even that far away. And most likely people ask you, where do you see yourself in 2, 5, or 10 years? My mum actually said to me the other day she wants to live to at least make it to 85. And I was like, what? Why do you think you wouldn't make it to 85? So that was a weird one. I think I'm healthy and happy, and I might make it to 75. She's just of that different generation that might actually outdo 85. I don't know. I feel like the younger you were going through life right now with all the hardship and all the weird stuff, that the harder it's going to be to live over 60, 65, 70. That's a long way down the track, you guys. The pipeline dreams are, coming and going. Anyway, my career, well, that probably won't change, but I plan on winning lotto in 5 years. No. I don't mind. I enjoy what I do. I think I do. Do I want to change that aspect? Well, maybe if I owned a bar, that would be interesting. It's like a whole different realm of social entity. If I got the keys to my own place that I could just make people happy. That makes me happy. And you know what? It's going to happen. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. It's fine. Anyway, I hope this kind of draws down onto how people see what 5 years time looks like. Whatever it looks like for you, it's not the same. It's not linear for everyone. And I just hope that whatever you choose to do, you do it with a smile on your face. You're going to make mistakes, but who cares? Who actually cares? These are your mistakes to have and own them, because it's not meant to be perfect. But if it is a mistake, just know that maybe the universe is teaching you something. That's probably a massive takeaway that I'd have from any sort of learning curve. But yeah, what does your life look like in 5 years from now? If this episode got you thinking, tag me on Instagram. Let's dream about the future together. And if you love this conversation, hit follow on Spotify so you don't miss what's coming next. Got 4 episodes to go. That's crazy. 4 episodes till 75, and then potentially I'm going to turf the podcast in for other things. Got a few side hustles on the go that I'm kind of exhausted from doing multiple things at. But yeah, just remember that the future isn't scary. It's actually you guys' to shape, and enjoy it. Live your best life. Take care, and I will see you in a week's time. Bye for now.